Alright, hello everybody, it's Hank. Just thought I'd put out another video. It's a strange world when we live in a time where progressives and libertarians pretty much agree on everything as far as corruption and anti-war and all these things are going on right now. I just wanted to let everybody know that comes into my channel that there is a game plan. I'll give you a general outline of what the game plan is. The game plan basically starts with economic collapse. Now, everything has gone so far out of whack at this particular junction that the math doesn't add up. I've already gone into that before. I can go into that again. And what was previously just one asset bubble is now all the asset bubbles. You have even the Federal Reserve working, the Boston Federal Reserve working to bring down the system, as it were, as far as economic collapse goes. The reason that the Federal Reserve is in on this now at this point is because it could no longer do its mission. It can no longer, its original mission back in 1917 was to kind of stabilize the economy. It was put in their hands. Did a fairly good job of it in the 80s with Paul Volcker. Got out of control with Greenspan. He was a computer programmer, and he was right with his general premise that since it was the world's reserve currency, he could print as much as he wanted to. And I understand that all the money that goes out there in QE often gets stuffed back into the Fed's reserves. But you got to understand the Federal Reserve can't raise rates or do anything with interest rates because as the world's reserve currency, we get too much international pressure to correct the market. So, yeah, I mean, if you audit the Fed, you go and you look and you see how much wealth has been stolen from the American people, it's definitely going to piss you off. Hell, in the French Revolution, that's what they went after first before they got the royalty, was the bankers. But that's neither here nor there. What I'm telling you is the economic collapse is part of the plan. It has to go down that way. That's the only way you get rid of the graft, you get rid of the corruption, you get rid of the politicians, you get rid of the money, is by making money worthless. So you essentially go back to a new system. Now, there's all sorts of different systems that we're going to go to in the interim. What I would suggest, there's two things I would suggest that you do if you haven't done it yet. As far as being able to have some monetary flexibility when the whole thing goes down. One, have a little bit of Bitcoin, because then you'll be able to use businesses like Amazon that have little drones that can fly stuff right to your doorstep, and you can transact your business electronically. You may not need very much, just $200 worth or so. Don't look at it as a speculative investment. Volatility is going to go up and down on it. You're just going to have to use it the same way that Dread Pirate Roberts, or Ross, his real name is Ross Ulbricht, and other dealers did on the Silk Road years ago. So you're going to have to withstand volatility in that. It is not a speculative investment. It is merely a hedge with which you can use to buy and trade goods electronically. The second thing I would do is get physical silver. Now, if you go back and look at a lot of my videos, I have always kind of railed against precious metals as being a currency. I never really saw the value in it. I would rather see silver and gold shaped into art, and it just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But there is a flaw in the system. The flaw in the system that we've found, people that are much smarter than I am, is that with all the trading, all the derivatives trading that they do back and forth internationally, we're talking about JP Morgan Chase, we're talking about the banks that borrow from the Fed at near 0% interest, and then essentially go on and buy a ton of paper contracts, of futures contracts on the COMEX with silver and gold, because to the algorithms that have been operating on this system since they put them in place in the 90s, precious metals is kind of an indicator to the algorithms, it's the health and sustainability of the market. So they have to keep those precious metals prices suppressed. They can do so by printing up as many derivatives contracts as they want to, trading them back and forth between their domestic bank and their international bank. Well, the problem with this, and where that would fail, right now only about 1% of people that have a precious metal as a holding have it in a physical, tangible sort of way, 1%. If that number goes anywhere between, I'd say, 5 and 10%, then the algorithms hit what we call null set, and it'll be flash crash. Now, flash crash can come from a lot of different places right now. It can come from Europe, although the Europeans, what I would say is the fascist element in Europe, trying to control the French elections. We can see that going on right now. There might be civil war in France before there's civil war here in America, because there's a lot of elements out there that want out of the euro, because the debt is crushing them. Debt-based society is crushing them. Anyway, so you get to make sure you don't have your silver or gold in paper contracts. If you do, you're not helping anybody. You're definitely not helping yourself, because when it goes bust, you're not going to have anything to show for it. So, like I said, go to, you can go on to a number of different places. Miles Franklin, pretty good guys actually. I first got turned on to them by listening to Andrew Hoffman through Dave over at X22, and I sort of really consider the argument a little bit more by listening, getting a little bit deeper into Bix Weir. So if you want to find out a little bit behind that thinking, that's already been said, so I don't need to say it again. So get physical delivery on it. I mean, hell, you can take, I don't know, it's not even 20, gold right now, silver right now on the COMEX is trading for $15. It's just ridiculous. So you could probably get a coin for like $20, and the actual silver coin is probably worth somewhere along the line of 600 today, and I can't even tell you what it's going to be worth tomorrow. And if you ask for physical delivery, yes, it's going to hasten along the demise of this very, very corrupt system. So people have said, okay, well, we've got to go hot right now. We've got to go, and I see this all the time. I see patriots and revolutionaries alike. Patriots being constitutionalists, revolutionaries being socialist Democrats, talking about going and purging the political system by getting the politicians and things that are no longer listening or representing the people. Well, the problem with that is you're not really going to have to worry about that when the economy goes down. The economy is going to go down first, and the starving masses are going to get those people second. You're not really going to have to do a damn thing. So what I would recommend, if you're in a position where you're ready to get angry and go hot, just stay calm, stay cool, be frosty, and be ready to help your neighbor. Make sure you got enough water on hand. Make sure that you know how to focus more on your skill sets. Focus more on teaching people around you how to track, how to hunt, knowing where your supply chains are going to come from. If you end up in a period of sustained vulnerability. So, if you have the resources to, if you're angry enough, you have the resources enough to go hot, I just say calm down a little bit and get ready to help your neighbor. And once you're in a position to help your neighbor, the economy is probably going to come down. I already made my prediction about it being this year. They can't hold it off. Too many things are coming apart at the seams in the euro. Too many things are coming apart in China, in India, in Russia. The list goes on and on and on. In Canada, Canada's already, their housing bubble just popped 2 weeks ago. So it's an inevitability. And when that inevitability comes, the starving masses will get your corrupt politicians. I assure you of that. It's part two. It's the step after that we all have to be really careful about. We don't want to denigrate into civil war and that power vacuum that could potentially exist here. I prefer bloodless revolutions. I really do. They don't happen very often in history, but I think the American people can get together. I do believe that we can hash our problems out. We can talk this over and not have to battle bloody about who's got what. In the very end, it's just going to be too freaking tough. And I don't want to see that level of bloodshed. So, have your ideas, know your community. You got to stand up for your community, stand up for your people, and do your best there. But I encourage everybody, stay away from the violence. If you need some concrete examples, go back and look at 1977. What happened? The blackout in New York. Hot night, one hot night, 1977. So, it could be like that in a lot of those big cities. So, that's been Hank. That's all I got to say. I'll give you resources if you need them. But I stay busy all the time. The time is ticking. Time is ticking. So get with the program. Catch you guys later.